What's up, everybody? This is Blister coming at you with another retail video. That's right, that's what we're going to talk about today. Stay tuned. So yes, we are here to talk about retail today, boys. Whether you're a classic enthusiast or a retail enthusiast, we all want the same thing. We want WoW to be successful. Now, like a lot of other people, I agree with the fact that Battle for Azeroth is not the strongest expansion that we've ever had for WoW. The storytelling and the raiding and the mythic dungeon scene could be the best that we've ever had, but that doesn't make up for the lackluster power progression and game mechanics that we're actually seeing in the system right now. Personally, for me, the biggest issue that I have is the ability prune that all these classes have gone through, and you can trace that back to a lot of the core gameplay mechanics that feel lackluster as well. So because of that, I've really lost a lot of interest in Battle for Azeroth. However, with the changes in 8.2, we're actually going to be seeing some of that change a little bit. How far and to what extent we don't know yet, but we do know that with 8.2 we are going to be seeing new abilities come to classes and actually make them rotation changing skills. So that's what got me really interested, and that's what got me back into playing retail. Now, when I stopped playing retail, I was maining an outlaw / assassination rogue, and it was on a dead realm, unfortunately. So I decided that I was going to go back to my home realm of Emerald Dream and choose a different character to play. Now that we're pretty much halfway through an expansion, it can be challenging to, find a new class that you actually want to play through the rest of this expansion and potentially into other expansions in the future. So I wanted to share with you guys my thought process and how I went about choosing a new class to main for the rest of this expansion and potentially in the future. The first thing I had to do was find out what my options were, and I knew that I didn't really want to level anything up from either 20 from an allied race or even 1 all the way up to cap again. So it was pretty much anything that was 110 or higher, and luckily for me, I have all classes at 110 or higher on Emerald Dream between the Horde and Alliance, so it didn't really matter to me what I picked. So the next question I had to ask myself is, what role do I want to fill? And that question for me was pretty simple. I've been a DPS player for a long time, and I don't think I was going to turn my back from that. I wanted to stick with the DPS. But not only DPS, I wanted to specifically be a melee DPS. So I went to my character screen and I started looking over all the melee characters that I could find, and I came to the conclusion to try out the monk. The monk was something that I really enjoyed having the hit combo skill with, and it really felt very rewarding when you got to get that hit combo up to its full potential and just maintain it throughout an entire fight. It was really rewarding, and it was a lot of fun to play with. So I chose a monk, I went out, started leveling, got all the way up to 120, and as soon as I hit 120, I hearthed back to my hometown and I logged out and got on my mage and started leveling a mage. As I was leveling the monk, I came through the thought process of, well, maybe I wasn't enjoying myself as much as I thought I would, because hit combo was no longer the go-to talent, so it wasn't in my rotation. I wasn't worried about making sure I was using the right combination of moves. So I thought I needed to try something completely different, and I've never really mained a ranged DPS before, so I was like, okay, I like Frost Mage, so let's go and try the Frost Mage. So I leveled up the mage all the way up to 120 next, and I started doing some dailies, and eventually I got bored of that after a day or two, and I went back and I was like, okay, I need to go back to my original process of how I've told everybody how to choose a main before. So that's exactly what I did. So I sat down and thought to myself, okay, I know I want to fulfill a DPS role. Do I have any other requirements that I need? And I know that I would want to have a tank or a healing off spec, so that way I can get into, LFR quicker, or I can get into heroics quicker, into time walking dungeons quicker, stuff like that, if I needed to swap over for a world boss, stuff like that. So I knew immediately that the rogue, mage, warlock, and the hunter were all out of the question. I then started to remove classes that I knew that I either don't like or have never played and I don't really care to try. So obviously, like I said before, the monk was out of the question. With the hit combo talent not being the one that you're supposed to use, I like to try and be as competitive as possible, even if that class is going to be lower down on the tier of damage, I still like to be competitive, so I need the best talents available to me. The warrior was another class that I begrudgingly had to say I'm not going to play because of the changes that the warrior has overgone in the past few expansions, really since Mist of Pandaria. I have not liked how Fury has changed, and I've really been a fan of arms either, so Prot has been fun, but Fury really just doesn't do it for me anymore, so I had to remove the warrior as well. The druid was very tough to remove for me because I really do enjoy both Resto and Bear in the druid's toolkit, but balance and feral I really don't care for, so unfortunately I had to get rid of the druid. That brings us down to the shaman, and the shaman was actually the class I had initially planned on maining in Battle for Azeroth. However, when the pre-patch came out and how lackluster it really was, and once we removed all the skills and everything, it wasn't the same anymore. And while Elemental is still really strong, and Elemental isn't bad to play, Enhancement is what I would really want to play, and Enhancement just is not in a good spot, and it's just not as fun as it used to be. So unfortunately, I had to remove the shaman as well. Now, the Death Knight was another class that was hard for me to remove. I had mained the Death Knight for the majority of Legion, and I really do enjoy both Unholy and Frost, and Blood isn't that bad either. I don't play it much, but I can play it, and it's not something that I go, damn it, I have to play this. It's something that I'll play from time to time and actually enjoy. But I did have to remove them just based on the fact that they're not even competitive when you're using the right talents right now in DPS. So because of that, and really, Frost is my go-to spec for the DK, and with the changes that they made when they removed the artifact weapons, they just really are not the same as they used to be in Legion. So, unfortunately, the Death Knight was also removed. And the Paladin, despite them having the best-looking set with Tier 2, I had to remove them. I just think Ret is boring as hell. While I do like Prot, I also really do not care for Holy. I haven't really played it too much since the changes in Legion, so I can't really bash it too hard, but last time I played it, I really just did not care for it, so I had to kick the Paladin out of there as well. So that just left the Priest and the Demon Hunter, and the Priest is a class that since Burning Crusade I've had at cap, and I've rated on one point or another in every expansion. So I knew that the Priest would be a good bet. I really like Holy, and Discipline is a lot of fun at times too, and with the changes to the talents at Battle for Azeroth, combined with what we actually got from Legion that carried over, Shadow's pretty fun right now. I actually kind of like Shadow, even though I'm not much of a ranged DPS guy. So it was really hard to say no to the Priest, but I had to choose the Demon Hunter, and I'll let you know why. Since the announcement of the Demon Hunter, I was hyped beyond belief to play this class. Now, when the Demon Hunter was announced, I was raiding with the guild, and everybody and their mother wanted to re-roll to Demon Hunter. And the best way we figured it would be to let people re-roll was just letting people roll for it. And unfortunately, I did not win that roll, so I had to stick on my warrior. I stuck on my warrior into Legion, and I eventually switched over to the Death Knight and my Priest. Those were my two in Legion, and it never became a good opportunity for me to be able to switch over to the Demon Hunter because I was raiding with the same guild, and there was just always too many Demon Hunters in our group. Now that I'm not playing with anybody, I don't have a raiding guild to fall back into, I can choose whatever I want. So the Demon Hunter was something that I really wanted to try, and I knew that if I didn't enjoy the Demon Hunter, I could always fall back on the Priest. So I decided to give the Demon Hunter a shot. So I started leveling up my Demon Hunter, I got all the way up to 120, and I enjoyed every second of it. As soon as I hit 120, I went onto my banking tune and I bought as many BOEs as I could. I sent them all over. I think I actually bought a BOE for every slot, so I actually had a pretty decent item level once I hit 120. Then I started to go and do world quests. I've been doing world quests on them every day, and it's just been a lot of fun. I know that the Demon Hunter isn't necessarily a very complex class, and there's not a lot of thinking that goes into it. It's pretty much just make sure you have enough of resources to use I-beams when it's off cooldown, make sure you have enough resources to use metamorphosis when it's on cooldown, and all that kind of stuff. So there's really not a lot of thinking that goes into it, but it really played into the old warrior DPS, the old Fury warrior that I really used to like way back in Wrath of the Lich King. It was just build and dump, and your filler was an AoE move essentially. So I really liked how the Demon Hunter is playing right now. So we don't know what 8.2 is going to bring us in terms of abilities and how it's going to actually change rotations and everything. But right now, I'm more than content to play my Demon Hunter until that happens. I may end up going back to the Priest depending on what happens with 8.2, but I know that for right now, I'm enjoying the Demon Hunter and I'm going to keep playing it. And on top of that, the Demon Hunter was Alliance, so I can actually go and unlock the Alliance allied races. I've already done it for the Horde. I had it done the day it came out. But that's it. That's how I made my decision. It was pretty much down to what role did I want to fill and what did I know I did or did not enjoy between different specs and class combinations. So I hope this was informative for you guys, and hopefully it can potentially help you save some time in figuring out what you want to level up to 120, especially if you don't have everything at 110. It can be quite the time sink to get something from 1.0 all the way up to cap, and it's not very fun. I've tried leveling something up recently and it was just no. So hopefully this saves you guys some time and you guys will be able to figure out what you want to do when 8.2 drops. Thanks for watching everybody, and I'll see you in the next one.
Hey, it's Ratted here. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe as well. It really helps out the channel. We put out multiple new videos each week and we appreciate all of your support. Thanks for watching everyone, and cheers.